In the heart of East Texas, where the piney woods stand tall, there's a place that's filled with history, where warm hearts call. From Big Sam to the Bearcats, pride runs deep and strong. In Huntsville, Texas, we sing our song. With love and hospitality, we opened up our doors. In this beautiful town, blessings we explore. Sting 'em Hornets, beat 'em up Cats, Sound Houston State, where dreams are at. Good morning, Huntsville, we find our way, guided by God's love every single day. From parks and recreation, where children laugh and play, to the historical treasures that take our breath away. In the piney woods, we find peace and rest. Huntsville, Texas, truly blessed. With love and hospitality, we open up our doors. In this beautiful town, blessings we explore. Sting 'em Hornets, eat 'em up Cats, Sound Houston State, where dreams are at. Good morning, Huntsville, we find our way, guided by God's love every single day. Yeah. In every sunrise, in every prayer, God's grace surrounds us everywhere. Through the highs and the lows, we stand as one. In Huntsville, Texas, His will be done. Sting 'em Hornets, eat 'em up Cats, Sound Houston State, where dreams are at. Good morning, Huntsville, we find our way, guided by God's love every single day. Sam to the Bearcats, our spirit shines so bright. In Huntsville, Texas, we live by faith, we walk in light. With love and hospitality, we greet the world anew. In this blessed town, our dreams come true.
Hey, welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us.
What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
All right.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas.
Hello, I'm Billy Coppin, the Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Hey, it's Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools.
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm Karen.
I'm Toy. And I'm Denise.
And from all of us at Walker County Federal Credit Union, good morning, Huntsville.
There we go. Welcome in.
All right, it's good to be here.
I was on the remote version of the remote. It's like a remote of a remote. And I was like, why is that so delayed? So there we go. Welcome in, everybody, as we get hopping and rolling here on episode 293. 293 is where you want to be.
That's right.
We used to have a radio station in Austin back in the day, like the R&B stations, and it was called Beat 93.3, and it had one of those "Welcome to the Beat," in the '90s, just the corny DJ sounding stuff.
Yeah.
So, but this isn't the Beat 93.3.
293
is where you want to be. So, hey, well, welcome in, friends. We're so thankful to have you here, getting started with us this morning. Pastor, it's one of those weird mornings for me, Jason. I got over here, and my Google Chrome browser decided it wasn't going to work. It's so strange how technology works sometimes.
Or when it doesn't work.
Exactly, when it doesn't work. And so I'm sitting down here, and the service that we use, and I hope this is coming through today because I never stream this through a different browser. So I'm going to do a little self-production check real quick just to I think we're good. So
right.
give us a thumbs up on the chat if everything sounds good. Kyle is saying turn it up some, and I don't know if that means if we're turned down. But that's what I was getting at is I'm having to stream this through a different browser. It seems like it's really low. So let me try to just let me know if you guys can hear that out there because, I've got this thing cranked up as much as I possibly can, and I think maybe our volume's turned down. Let me try again here real quick, Jason.
No problem.
I think it's fine. Jamie Saucier says it's fine. So I'm used to seeing our level. Here, let me just say this real quick. I'm used to seeing our level whenever I talk, like almost hitting the peak, and it's not doing that. But I've got it cranked up pretty loud, so we'll just roll with this today.
Yeah, let's roll with it.
I think we're fine. So we want to, Jamie. If Jamie Saucier says it's loud, we're loud. So,
All right.
Welcome in. Big shout out, Paul. Holy Paul, we love you, man, of the gallery. Appreciate his support and allowing us to be in this space for all of your custom framing, photography, and more. It's Paul Oley, the gallery, 1201 University. I don't ever want to just rush through the sponsors. They are so important to what we do here on Hello Huntsville. And so please, when you hear me talk about these folks, please go by and see them and support local business in our community. Also, a huge shout out to Elliot Herzig of Elliot's Jewelers and online at elliotsjewelers.com for all of your custom jewelry and more. He is the man here in Huntsville, takes great care of you, has been helping me for many years, in fact, and has become a great friend and gives so much back to the community. So we appreciate Elliot Herzig of Elliot's Jewelers. And here on this Thankful Thursday with our good friend, Pastor Jason Bay over at First Baptist, always enjoy having Pastor with us. And I'm still always confused. Like, I feel like, and I know you by now, that you're, but it just, my dad raised me with so much respect that, like, if I don't call someone by their, like, title or Mr. or Mrs., I feel like it's bad stuff coming. And I know that you don't mind. You'd probably prefer me to call you Jason. Probably.
Yeah, you just call me Jason. We've known each other for some time now, and I hope that I'm closer to just a pastor.
Yeah, you are. You're a good friend, Jason. See, it just, man, when I say it, it's like my dad's right now. He's like, boy, you better put that respect down. So, but man, I just wanted to say, publicly, I appreciate you guys, Jason, and just, all the support and so many folks reached out over the past 2 weeks. And I appreciate you and some of our other men coming to Georgetown, man. What was that trip like for y'all? Was it a good drive?
Yeah, it was nice. It was a straight shot. I didn't realize I haven't been to Georgetown or just going specifically there, but it was an easy drive. They have a little tollway there that connects one road to another, and it takes us right in there. But that was the first thing on my list that I wanted to talk about today is going up there and seeing you and at your dad's funeral, and just what an amazing job you did. I can't imagine going through that whenever my dad passed away years ago, I was pretty new to the ministry at that time, and I didn't do my dad's funeral. I had a friend that did his funeral, but you just did an amazing job. But I'd like to just know from your perspective what that was like, preaching your father's funeral and all the things, the events that went around that. I mean, it must have been hard, but at the same time, very liberating to just get those feelings out and being able to share. And what a beautiful service it was. You did a great job.
When I heard that you may be coming, I was like, man, I better nail this thing right. So, no, that wasn't it. But no, for me, it was just kind of the process of healing. If you not to be cliche about words that people say during these times, but I think it was just my way of honoring my father. And God gives us all different things that we do every day, and mine is communication, I feel like. And so
right.
My dad and I had talked years ago, and he said, son, if something ever happens, I wouldn't mind you doing that for me.
That's great.
And at the time, you don't think about it. You're like, nothing's ever going to happen to my dad, and that time came, and and that's something else too that I wanted to say is, we were able to gather. I honestly thought he'd be fine because he'd been in the hospital before.
Right.
And he had gotten this pneumonia before, and he always said the word crusty, and so I said, well, he's going to be back to his crusty old self here pretty soon. But we had saw him that Sunday a few weeks ago, and it was a weird feeling, Jason, because Bridget was with me, and my sister was there, and our two children, Bridget and I's, Braylon and Caden, and I just felt this urge to like circle around my dad and pray with him and to hold hands. And he's obviously a believer. He was okay with that. And, we prayed for healing. And maybe here's the inspiration this morning that there's nothing wrong with praying for healing. I think what happens is people get discouraged when that healing doesn't happen in the way that they think it should. And the way that most people think it should is that person's going to be healed here on earth. And what a pastor friend had told me years ago, and it made so much sense, and it changed my whole perspective, that yes, I believe in healing. Yes, I believe that people on this earth, even today, be healed, because the Bible says today, tomorrow, and forevermore, or yesterday, today, and forevermore. But I also believe this, that sometimes we don't get that answered in the way that we want. And my dad now has the ultimate healing in heaven.
Ultimate healing, absolutely.
And that's the way that pastor had related to me. He said, look, if that healing doesn't happen here on earth, you can rest assured that if they're a believer, that healing is going to happen in heaven.
Yeah.
And so that brought peace over me.
Absolutely. And I didn't get the chance to get to know your dad, obviously, but it's been a pleasure getting to know you and getting to know him through you. But one of the things that impressed us all when we were driving back is the music that your dad was involved in, and your family singing at the funeral, and even you had even one of your dad's songs that he sang played at the funeral. I thought that was really, really neat, and I had no idea that y'all were so musically talented like that.
I think that ended with my dad, unfortunately. I used to sing choir in church back in the day when I was in high school at Main Street Baptist, which was the original First Baptist in Georgetown, and it was entertaining because there was a lady, Jason, that used to sit in front of me or stand in front of me, and this was back in the day of the robes.
Right.
And I'll never forget, man, I got to wear Judge Wright's robe. He was the judge in Williamson County, and he had moved on to another church, and they said, well, the only robe we've got left is the one that Judge Wright used to wear. And I said, well, man, if I'm with Wright, I'll never be wrong. And in high school, I was wearing his robe, and a lady said that, she goes, I just love you singing behind me, because I had sang bass, and she goes, it makes my feet rumble. But in all seriousness, my dad was very musically talented, and a lot of that spurred, with time that he got to spend with his father-in-law and my grandpa. And that's actually how he and my mother had met. Was my dad got an opportunity to go to Georgetown after he got out of the service. He was actually up in Valley Mills area. He was a police officer for a short time in McGregor, and he was kind of on the roadmap of possibly being a DPS officer, maybe working his way up to Texas Ranger. And once he got involved in that, he realized, he dealt with so much of that kind of stuff in Vietnam, and war and being around, and he always had so much tremendous respect for law enforcement, but that just wasn't what he felt that he wanted to do. And so he ended up getting a job eventually with the city of Georgetown working. That's where he met my father-in-law, and they started talking about music, and my grandpa said, well, I play music. Charlie, you ought to come over to the house sometime. And so that was my grandpa's way of trying to get my dad to come over to meet my mom. And so that's how that connection ultimately worked. But I don't know, it's just humbling to be able to do that. There was it's weird because it is tough, but also knowing where my dad is, it brings so much peace. And I mean, last night I was with our children, and Braylon had said the word daddy, and it just, it hit you just out of nowhere. And I started tearing up, and I was crying a little bit, and I didn't want to do that in front of my children. And Braylon said, "Are you sad, Daddy?" And, as a parent, I'm like, "Oh, no, sweetheart, I got something in my eye." And I started rubbing my eye. And so I said, "I got a little dirt in my eye." So when I put her to bed last night, she was rubbing her eye. I was like, "You okay?" She goes, "I got a little dirt in my eye, Daddy." But that's just, my way of honoring him. And on Father's Day, I had a lot of folks say, "Man, it must be, and I was thankful for the condolences. Don't get me wrong. I was so thankful for that. But a lot of people were saying, "We know this must be hard for you." And it wasn't even folks at church. It was just around town and other people. And I said, to be honest, not really, because I know where my dad's at. In fact, I'm kind of jealous of where he is.
Really.
But that's the hope and the promise that we all have as a believer, that we can all be reunited. And there's something that I wanted to say, and I know that we talk about a lot of different things, but I did want to mention this to you. You always hear people, "Oh, your daddy's up there in heaven watching down on you." Now, I haven't heard that yet but you hear it from other people.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, no, he's not, because heaven is a place of joy and happiness.
Right.
And if we're up there and we have a chance to look back, I don't think that could work, because one, I don't know where I'm not going to get into like a theological discussion about this. But and I'm not saying this in a negative way to anybody that thinks that, but I'm just thinking, no, he's not. He's up there and enjoying time. And, when you're in that place of joy, I won't take offense that my dad's not even thinking about me right now. Now, when I get up there, he's going to know me.
Right.
But right now, I just don't think he's up there looking down on us. And I don't say that in someone's like, "Man, Rob, you're pretty hard." I'm like, no, he's not. He's up there enjoying all the glory and finally getting to know the Lord as he sees him in heaven now.
Yeah. What a blessing. I mean, I think you're exactly right. I mean, there's so much. The Bible says, "Eye have not seen nor ear heard the things that God has prepared for those that love him." And I think you're right. We have so much to look forward to there. And I think one of the things that, like you said, not to get into the weeds theologically, but one of the things we don't think about is, God is a creator of time as well. And so when you think about God being out of this time-space continuum, it kind of blows your mind.
Start thinking about Back to the Future. You got your DeLorean out there faster.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're never going to understand exactly how things are there till we get there, just like you said.
Yeah. Well, I'm thankful for it. I appreciate you asking. One other comment I wanted to have on all this was, one, I just appreciate everybody and you guys coming down. And I knew that whenever I played that Fraulein song, I knew that Rodney was going to love that. Because Rodney and I have talked, and he likes a lot of old school country. And so I wanted to mention that, and you already kind of highlighted it. It was a song by Bobby Helms that my dad just loved playing, and I used to, and I knew a few of the chords actually. My dad and Grandpa did teach me a little bit. I used to play it on this little old mandolin. Because that's what my dad even played the banjo, man. It was pretty cool. But I wanted to highlight that, and then you had mentioned you got on the toll road. Did you know that's the fastest highway in the United States?
Well, Rodney got 85. On there. And he's like, "Oh, I can't believe this. This is awesome. 85 miles an hour. I mean, I want to stop and take a picture of that sign."
It's the fastest stretch of highway in the U.S. now. They're from Georgetown to, I believe it is Lockhart. 85 miles an hour on that toll road. And I just got to be transparent. I'm not going to lie. I've went 95 on that before.
Well, let me tell you this. I got this new app on my phone that tracks you for insurance purposes and things like that.
It messed up your insurance?
Yeah, it messed it up because it said I'm going excessively fast on these.
So there you go, man. You hit the toll road and your insurance rate goes up.
My grade dropped. I'm like, oh, man.
Well, had you guys – so you'd never been to Georgetown before?
No, not that I can remember. I mean, I'm sure I passed through there, but it's a nice town. And we all said the funeral home where you had the service was nice too. The little chapel and everything. It was just a great setting there. And you said that several of your family members have gone through that funeral home there, but it was really, really nice.
Was that a new experience for you? Because I know that you've officiated quite a few funerals, to see the round tables versus a traditional pew.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that before?
No, I haven't, but I really like that. And we have a little chapel at the church, and it creates a totally different feel. It creates more of a community feel to have those tables in there. I know a lot of churches are doing things like that nowadays, but that was the first time I seen it in a funeral home. But I thought it gave it a great feel. It spread the people out, made the room feel full, and it was full. But it was just, and we fellowshiped with the people around our table and got to know some of the people from there that we probably wouldn't have, or I know we wouldn't have. We were just sitting in pews all looking in the same direction. So I thought that was a really great touch.
It was really cool. We had 14. My mom counted it. The guest books are kind of neat, and she went through and was telling me, because originally they had us in another room, and I told my mom, I said, Mother, this feels like we're in like a cafeteria, with Dad sitting over here, and then the rest of it. It's just a weird room. Because my mom had thought, and nothing with my mother, she was apologetic. I said, Mom, you had so much going on, because she kind of misunderstood. But they were so accommodating over there at Cook Walden Davis. But we had been in this other room, and for me, I think I had to detach my mind from traditional things. And I don't mean that rudely, but to me, traditional is, at the visitation, you go in, there's a little room, and it's like a more private setting.
Right.
There's a couch. There's usually a little couch, an end table, and a coffee table, and then the body's lying in state across from that.
Right.
It's a small room, probably maybe a third of the size of our little studio here, and it's very dark, and they put all the flowers.
Yeah.
And so, we did that with my grandmother, but then we had the service with the round tables, and I remember in 2021, I was thinking, this just doesn't feel right. Just doesn't feel right, because I'm thinking of all the other funerals that I'd been to, that the visitation felt right because that's what I was used to, but the service at first, I was like, I don't know how this is going to go, and it actually went really well. You're right, because the community feel of the tables.
I think it gives it a more relaxed feel too, and it allows people that want to say something or respond differently. It gives them the freedom to do that. And I thought that was evident there. I really liked it. I thought the service was a beautiful service and very honoring to your father, who did a lot of things in his life.
Yeah, it was. He did quite a bit, and I go back briefly to that same setting. So with my father, we didn't have the room. Mm-hmm. They had him in another room with all the tables, because that's where we were going to have the service originally. Yeah. And that night, my dad was blessed to have so many friends come by and we said, man, we're not going to have enough room tomorrow in this other smaller room. So that's why we went ahead and moved it to the main chapel area. But even then, when I called my mom. I said, Mom, you're not going to like this. And she goes, what? I said, we don't have that private little room. My mom's like, well, I didn't understand what they were talking about. And here's where I was talking about earlier, having to detach yourself from tradition sometimes. And again, I keep saying the disclaimer. I don't say it in a negative way. But after that visitation was over, because there was all the tables in there, and it was like everybody could come in at once. After it was over, I told my mom, I said, I really loved having this visitation in this type of setting because, again, it was more community. And people were in there. My father was laying in state at the front of that room, and there was tables everywhere. It wasn't a dark setting. It was a light setting. And everybody was just talking. There were people hanging out for a couple of hours where normally it's, you feel for the family when you attend a funeral, and you don't want to like get up in their business, if you know what I mean. You don't want to you want to give them their space. Let's put it that way. Here it was like people felt more inclined to stay and talk. And instead of walking out, there was places for them to sit down. So before we knew it, everybody was sitting around. Some people were telling jokes. Some people were telling stories. And it just made it, it gives me a feel-good feeling.
Well, I thought, to give an example, when we got there, because of everybody was gathering around in different places and talking, I think it really spoke highly of your father and his life and what was important to him. And I think what was important to him obviously was relationships, because whenever I met the first guy that came that sat at our table was a guy that you told me that your dad bought a vehicle from.
Solly Keebler, wasn't it? Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I thought, and he said he was telling us a little bit of the story, and I'll probably get it wrong, but I think he came in to buy a truck or car or something, and he said, then after that, he said, he just kept calling me. He just kept calling me and talking to me. And he said, even from the nursing home, he'd just call and talk to me. And I just love that because it reminded me of my dad. My dad was like that. You'd go in there. I'm type of person, you know, that I'm trying not to be this way as much, but, you know, want to get things done. Tell me what you need. Give me the facts, you know. And Dad would go in there and he'd be talking about this. Anytime that we went anywhere, it was a conversation that could have took place in 5 minutes, usually lasted 30. And that reminded me of your dad because that sounds like the kind of person that he was, you know, talk about whatever and just build relationships with people.
See, this is so true. I want to encourage, if you come to FBC and visit us, this is why I always say we get started at 10:45 and we're out by noon because, man, Jason just wants to all right, let's get to the facts. Let's just get through it, and we're out of there by noon, man. You ever been to some, I'm not, again, I throw in these disclaimers, but have you ever been to, man, it's like you show up to service at 11 o'clock and they're still going at 1, and you're just like, okay, man, I love the Lord, but it's time to go. Like, we got to eat. Let's be honest, right? Did y'all ever have any traditions like that growing up, like you and your mom? Did y'all, and maybe y'all do to this day, but did you ever have hey, on a Sunday we'll do the church, we'll do church, and then we go out as a family? Did y'all ever have any of those type of traditions growing up?
Yeah, we definitely did. Now, at my grandmother's, we lived in Cypress, but when we moved back to Huntsville, every Sunday we'd always eat lunch at my grandmother's house, and we'd all go over there and eat lunch together, and that was a highlight. I'll remember that forever. But Sundays were always very important to family, to being around each other, and we still try to do that today. But usually Sundays we're running 90-0, going here and there and everywhere, and trying to get everything done. But it's nice on special occasions, especially, just to go home and sit down and have dinner together. And by the way, that's one of the things that I encourage everybody to do. They say that's going away now. In building houses, one of the rooms that's disappearing, and maybe rightfully so, but most houses nowadays are built without a dining room. Used to, I remember the house I grew up in, and you had that dining room that you reserved for special occasions, and you went in there and all the dishes were there, and Mom would get down the stuff and put it around the table, and we'd eat there on special occasions. Well, with houses that are designed now, even the places where you eat, not just the dining room, but even like the little kitchen nook, in some places are going away. But I think it's so important that families make an effort to eat together, to sit down. Everybody's eating in front of the TV, everybody's sitting on the couch eating, or in their bedrooms or whatever, but try to make a concerted effort to carry on the tradition of sitting around a table and eating together. There's something very special about that time.
I agree with that, Jason. One of my favorite memories growing up, and I'll try to dig up a picture of it here in just a second, but it was literally at my grandmother's house growing up, and the front porch. And that instilled in me at a very young age. And we had to sit in the front porch because Nanny's house was hot.
Yeah.
They didn't have AC in the house. And they had, and these were the old houses that had the ceilings that were really 12 feet high. You could, higher than a basketball goal, and that was for the heat. And then they had the old swamp core, and that water cooled fan worked though.
Yeah.
But when it was 100 degrees, it didn't work that great. And so we grew up at Nanny's house, sitting on the front porch. And, I think that's something else that instilled in me as a young person, that ever since I was little, I said, man, one day I want to have a house with a front porch, because it reminded me so much of my grandmother's house. And here it is. Let me show this on the screen real quick. This was
I love that.
This was, and I'm going to try to do this again. I'm in a whole different browser, and so I'm trying to do things a little bit differently this morning. Of course, it'll show up a little bit differently here, but what I'm getting at is, we had a chance growing up to literally be on the front porch. I'll do it here in a second. It's again, things are a little bit different this morning just because of how this is set up. But we got to grow up sitting on my grandmother's front porch, and that was a very, very special time for us. And I think as a society that, things would be a lot different if we could get back to literally sitting on the front porch.
Absolutely.
And there's a picture of it right there.
Yeah.
Those are my cousin. And look at that. There's how many of us here? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's Bridget sitting over there. 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 of us right there. My grandmother's kind of at the up top to the left, and that's where we grew up. We grew up on that porch at Nanny's house.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. That's a great picture. You need to hang on to that one, because that says a lot, just looking at that picture about your family. and about your ability to communicate, because you probably learned it right there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of communication I lack that I'm still working on. So, well, hey, we're having a good one here today. One other final thing about our tradition after church, not ours, my grandparents, my dad's mother and dad. Do you remember the day when it was like a royalty to go to come on, man, it's going to hit me. The buffet place, Golden Corral.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was prestigious. If you got to go, now it's like, you go to Golden Corral, you know. But back in the day, Golden Corral was like, man, you going to Golden Corral, man? It's like you're staying at the Best Western Plus, baby. So my grandparents would go to Golden Corral, and that was one of my favorite things, because whenever we would be down in San Antonio, they lived in Pearsall, but there was times where we'd go to San Antonio and visit my uncle's church. And one time I was with my grandmother. I think my grandpa had actually passed away at this point, but we went down to my uncle's. We went to church with them in San Antonio, and I'll never forget. It's like, oh, when we're down here, we always go to Golden Corral. And it was just this very, like, oh, man.
Bring out the best china.
Yeah, it's like, man, bring out that real plasticware, you know. But it was a big thing. And you know, those kind of traditions are so neat. And just think, that's some inspiration this morning for families. It's just.
Absolutely.
You know, get back to we're going to create a country song called Front Porch America. Dining rooms and front porches. We'll get Alan Barnes to write the lyrics and sing it. And that's going to be a number one hit here within a 5-mile radius.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, Jason, I know you got some more today. We'll get to that here in just a little bit. We do want to welcome all of you in again. Thank you for joining us here on another edition of Good Morning Huntsville. A lot of friends are joining us. We'll get to those on the back end of the show as well. We're going to take our first break. Got to listen to your national news and a word from some of our sponsors. Do want to encourage you today. Feeling a little bit generous, and I'm going to give away $20 again today. And all you got to do is text in the keyword ROSE along with your name. That's ROSE along with your name on the Zero Degree Creations phone and text line at 936-339-0139. $20 coming today. Please, Cash App or Venmo. If I have to run a $20 bill to you, it's going to cost you money. Rose along with your name to 936-339-0139. As always, our Thankful Thursdays brought to you here by our friends at FBC Huntsville. More information online at fbchuntsville.org. We'll take a brief break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. More to come. It's your show. This is Good Morning Huntsville.
USA News. I'm Ryan Daniels. The rules for the upcoming debate between President Biden and former President Trump are now set. CNN announced Sunday both candidates have agreed to appear at a uniform podium with their positions determined by a coin flip. Microphones will be turned off during the 90-minute debate except when it is each candidate's turn to speak. There will also be no studio audience. Neither candidate can bring notes with them, but they can have one pen and a pad of paper. The debate happens June 27th in Atlanta. Negotiators are continuing to work on a peace deal between Israel and Hamas. USA's Tim Berg with the story.
Talks are ongoing with mediators trying to agree to a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. This week, Hamas responded to a proposal by President Biden, but Israel says the response was equivalent to a rejection. Connecticut Democratic Senator Jim Hines joins Fox News Sunday.
We saw 8 Israeli soldiers die yesterday. This is a war that is taking a huge toll on both sides. And, you know, it's always a good idea to maintain negotiations.
All across the Northeast, the National Weather Service is warning of a multiple days-long heat wave for this week, starting on Monday. They're warning everyone to keep an eye on young people and vulnerable older adults who could experience negative health impacts from the heat. And, of course, they tell everyone to make sure drink plenty of water and, if possible, to limit time outdoors. Crowds cheer as Britain's Princess Kate made her first public appearance since providing an update on her cancer treatment. She was seen arriving by carriage to attend Saturday's Trooping the Colour Parade in London to mark King Charles' birthday. This is USA News.
Omaha Steaks is rewriting the book on burgers with an all-new handmade texture for the juiciest home-style burgers you've ever tasted. Their pure ground burgers are made from single cuts of real, aged Omaha steaks. These are truly steaks on a bun. Filet mignon, ribeye, New York strip, sirloin, and even brisket burgers. Now is the time to experience the exclusive Burger Perfection Flight for just $79.99. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code TREAT at checkout to get an extra $20 off your order, plus free shipping. You'll get 4 of each pure ground burger, so you can sample all the steak on a bun greatness. These burgers are crafted for a juicier, more tender experience, making your mouth water with every single bite. Don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com. Use promo code TREAT at checkout and get $20 off the Burger Perfection Flight and discover your new burger.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram, or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas.
Welcome to Magnolia Kennel of Huntsville, where we've been caring for your furry family members for over 4 decades. Nestled at 877 IH 45 South, our kennel is a perfect retreat for your pet. With a climate-controlled facility, spacious exercise yards, we ensure a comfortable and enjoyable stay. At Magnolia Kennel, we offer a range of options including overnight boarding, extended stay boarding, and doggy day out. But that's not all. We also provide additional pampering services like baths and nail care to keep your pets looking and feeling their best. Making a reservation is a breeze at magnoliakennel.com. We take great pride in our dedication to the community, supporting our local fire departments by providing oxygen pet masks. Stay connected and enjoy adorable pet updates by following us on Facebook. Magnolia Kennel of Huntsville is where dogs get to be dogs. Visit us at magnoliakennel.com to book your pet's next stay. We can't wait to meet your 4-legged family members.
The Oak Ridge Disciple House is a faith-based 501c3 nonprofit Christian character building ministry helping men 18 and older who are suffering from drug and alcohol addictions. If you or someone you know needs help, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that light can be found through the Oak Ridge Disciple House. For more information, visit oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Back at it. Time now is 8:12. We got about 18 minutes. We got a VBS going.
Oh man, tell me about it.
Man, it's been a fun and exciting journey. My first one.
Oh man, welcome to the
show.
To the storm.
Yeah, to the storm. That's a really important day today too for children.
Absolutely,
especially at FBC. It's Decision Day, and you know all the churches do VBSs every year, and it's the most important day for for any church. And I did want to show something quick just because, it is Thankful Thursday here on the show. Every day we've had the privilege of kind of putting together a few clips, and I kind of wanted to show one from yesterday, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Here's what's been going on this week, so enjoy this video real quick, friends.
Kids are on the case now, got their magnifiers out, searching high and low now, what this story's all about. Clues are everywhere, see, helping when you can. They're learning from the good men, how to show we really care on the case.
Well, we were going to show that, but there's a reason that I don't use Microsoft's browser. So, anyways, that's just a little quick highlight there, Pastor, of what we've been doing. So, if you want to see all of it, then come to VBS.
Yeah, use your imagination. It's been great. We've had a great week this week. Vacation Bible School. A lot of the churches in the community are doing Vacation Bible School this week. We've noticed a lot of other churches doing Vacation Bible School on the same week. I think everybody wants to try to get Vacation Bible School done. Used to kind of spread out over the summer, but I think most churches now want to have it done earlier in the summer because it gets so hot. And so you see a lot of Vacation Bible Schools early on in June. If you have children, our Vacation Bible School is almost over, but I know there'll probably be some great Vacation Bible Schools at other churches that are participating in that, and I would encourage you to send your children to Vacation Bible School. It's always a great time to get your children to learn more about the Scripture and about the plan of salvation, and that's what it's all about.
It's crazy you mentioned, about the heat, because a lot of the graduations now, because if they're having outdoor graduations, all these new fields are all the turf, and it's really hot. Man. So when we produce a graduation for Hutto, Texas for Hutto ISD every year. It's about 3 hours from here, and we did it, a month ago on a Thursday night. And I remember, I'd left early from church that day to get over to Hutto to set up for this thing. And it was at 8 o'clock at night.
Wow.
Well, because 650 kids graduated, we didn't get out of there until almost midnight.
Wow.
But anyways, well, Jason, what do you have for us today, man?
I got a couple of things. Just tapping into the news, some news that you can use. All right. First thing, George Strait, the king of country music, is now the king of concerts. Last Saturday at Kyle Field, he broke the record and played to a crowd of 110,905 fans, breaking an all-time attendance record previously set by the Grateful Dead nearly 50 years ago. But I will say, in confession, Rob, that I was one of those people there at that 110,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my kids and I, they got me tickets to that show, and that's the first concert I've been to in, 30, 40 years.
I was wondering
probably.
where you were at on Sunday. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so we went to it. It was a great time. We had a lot of fun being over there at Kyle Field, and I thought the Aggies did a wonderful job of putting that concert on for so many people. It took us forever to get out of there. Just the ramps going out of the stadium was unbelievable. But I've never seen that many people congregate, and that record will probably stand for a long time, even at Kyle Field, because they had all the floor of where the field is covered with chairs as well. All the stands were completely filled. So, I mean, even the highest attended football game probably won't come close to that number because of all the people on the ground. But it was unbelievable. We had a good time. What's the last concert you've been to? You go to many concerts?
Yeah, in fact, that's cool. I love going to like a lot of Christian concerts, and the last one that I went to was CeCe Winans.
Oh yeah,
down in San Antonio at Max Licado's church.
Yeah.
I forget what that is. It used to be the Oaks Gabriel. I think it was the Oaks Church of Christ. Now it's just called Oak Church, and Pastor Lacada was right in front of us. Just you wouldn't even know. Just a very humble.
Right.
Hey, how y'all doing? Good to see you. And didn't even know who he was. He wasn't making a big deal of it. That's how he is.
Right.
And CeCe Winans was there. That was incredible. Bridget and I really love her. Went to a Newsboys concert back in the day. Before that, CeCe Winans, though, it was Phillips, Craig, and Dean.
Yeah. I love them. I used to listen to them all the time.
But I've had, I went when Pat Green, the Texas musician.
Yeah.
So this is not a good story, but I'm going to tell you. Squirrel, literally. See, you get distracted. Literally, a squirrel right there. So he comes by sometimes, man. He's waiting on me to throw him some grub. But we were. This was in high school. Pat Green had just started to get started. I was dating a girl then, and she was just infatuated with Pat Green.
Right.
No one really knew that much about him. Kevin Fowler. Have you ever heard of these guys? Like Kevin Fowler's another.
Yes.
And these are the rowdy guys, right?
Right.
Well, I'll never forget. I go in high school. Stubbs Barbecue in Austin is an iconic place for concerts, especially up-and-coming artists and even well-known artists. But Pat Green was there. Kevin Fowler was there. And I didn't know. All that I knew was I don't like standing up.
Yeah.
Well, we got there super early because, again, this girl I was dating was just in love with Pat. They called him Fat Pat, by the way, was his nickname. So we're there. The music is pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Pretty good music, not real bad music, But then Kevin Fowler gets up there and starts singing with him. Well, these guys like to partaketh of the alcoholic beverages.
Yeah.
So what happens? They start drinking a few cold ones on the stage, and then Kevin Fowler decides it's going to be a great idea to start throwing it on everybody. We're in the front row, Jason.
All right. You got a shower.
Got showered with booze. I'm in high school. I'm in 11th grade, okay? I go home. My dad smells it on me. Boy, what were you? And I almost got tore this way back to Georgetown, man, from my dad, tearing into my back bottom. But once I told him, I was like, Dad, if this wasn't me, it was. And he's like, all right. He's like, well, stay away from all that hoopla then.
And I kind of expected that the crowd might, like I said, it's been a long time since I went to a concert. And I'm not a huge country music fan or any kind of fan of music, but I like George Strait from years ago and old-time country. And, this is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime event. But I was expecting the crowd to be kind of rowdy, but it wasn't. It was a good night. It was the wind was blowing through. We as a family had a great time. Just being with them, and so, but that's a memory that I'll have with them. The 110,905 people crowded into Kyle Field last last Saturday night. That's when it was.
I didn't tell this story at my dad's service, but George Strait grew up in Pearsall, Texas.
Yeah, he mentioned that.
And so, did he say it at the?
Yeah.
Well, man, that's great. That town hasn't changed 50 years. But my uncle used to teach school. George Strait's daddy used to teach school also there at Pearsall High School.
Yeah.
And my uncle would always tell me, well, I didn't teach George, but he was he was in the class next to me. And the neat story about all this is my dad used to have this old Pontiac car. In fact, my sister's watching this. I believe it was a car she learned to drive. But that car, I was a little child. My sister, she may remember this. I don't remember it, but I remember Dad telling me the story of it was her and my brother, and maybe I wasn't born yet. But the kids were real little. That car broke down on the side of the road going into Pearsall, and this old truck comes up and says, hey, let me help you. It was George Strait's dad,
wow.
And they helped out my dad, mom, and the kids get to where they needed to go. Isn't that pretty cool?
Yeah, that is cool. I was surprised. Like he mentioned everybody in his band, and he said that was the largest concert that he'd ever been a part of, and it was great. But he mentioned all the people in his band, and all of them were from Texas too. So it's great to see.
Can you sing Amarillo by Morning for us?
You wouldn't want me to.
My sister said I wasn't born yet, so I can't take credit on that one. But that was the story. And our cousin is named after George Strait, Justin Strait Bergen.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's a country music fan right there.
There it is, yes sir.
All right, the next thing that I wanted to mention, of course, you probably heard that Tropical Storm Alberto is approaching Mexico, and today. Supposed to make landfall in South Texas and affect the coastline down there. I saw last night on the news they were expecting about 10 inches of rain down in South Texas and Surfside area. With the streets were already flooding down there. It's the first named storm of this hurricane season. You have any great hurricane memories?
Well, I got a funny story that here in East Texas we say Alberto. Now if you're farther south, like in Brownsville, it'll be Alberto. I was joking with the guy yesterday. He goes, "Man, y'all say that." And it was a Spanish guy. He's like, "It's not Alberto." He's like, "It's Alberto." So we were joking around about that yesterday.
Yeah. So if I pronounce that wrong, my apologies to the tropical storm.
Yeah. Tropical storm Hermine came through Georgetown back in 2011. We had 29 inches of rain in 24 hours. Flooded my house. I remember that. My mom has a story of Hurricane Carla in the 60s. The old school record players, the all-in-one consoles?
Yeah, we had one.
Well, that one to this day, my mom keeps a little cloth over it, but there's nicks all on the top of it where glass from their house blew out during hurricane. It was still hurricane status in Williamson County.
Wow.
And then there was another one, and I think it was I can't remember. We had we drove to College Station area a few years ago. A buddy of mine, whenever one of the hurricanes was, we wanted to go hurricane hunting.
Oh wow!
But we
Stay
decided
away from that.
We were joking around. I have a video of us in the elevator going, "It's Jim Cantori here from the Weather Channel," and I was going like this in the elevator. And I'll have to find that video. That's all the hurricane stories I've got, man.
Yeah, no, I can remember back in the day the hurricanes that we've had blow through when we were in Cypress, closer to Houston, and all the things that it does to impact your life. But just remember those people affected by that, and then throughout this hurricane season, we never know what's going to happen. I found a little list here I thought was pretty cool. These are things that were ruined when they became too popular. So think about this. Things that were ruined when they became too popular. For number one on the list is chicken wings. It says back in Buffalo, they used to cook them and mix them with the original wing sauce and serve them for free in some places. Now it's like $20 for a good serving of them. And if you've noticed, everybody has chicken wings nowadays. You go anywhere, you can get chicken nuggets drowned in wing sauce, and they call them wings. Number two was Star Wars.
Yeah, I can't stand Star Wars, by the way. I've never liked it. Are you a Star Wars guy?
Not me, but I know there's a lot out there.
If you're out there, it's the same as Dr. Seuss. Throw that thing in the garbage, please.
It says, I remember when there were like 3 movies. That's it. Now we keep finding more and more and more ways to keep milking more and more out of these used to be great movies. Stop it already.
Terminator's one they need to quit making, extra ones of that. The first one and the second one are great. All the rest of them are garbage.
It seems like if you go to the movies nowadays, you're watching either a prequel or a sequel to something. They can't come up with new ideas. It's just regenerating the same thing over and over again.
Bridget and I get into fun arguments about, like, I want to watch a movie. She wants to watch a series. And I don't like it because I never watch the beginning, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'd rather just watch a 2-hour movie and call it done.
Me too, or an hour and a half. I can't even take 2 hours. Now you go onto Netflix and you got to invest like 8 hours of your life just to get the intro stuff out of the way. All right, the next one, and you can relate to this being from Georgetown.
Well, wait, Kyle just said number 3 on that list is Terlingua, Texas. Did I say that right, Kyle? He said that's what used to be cool, but it's not anymore.
Well, this is right down the alley. It's Austin, Texas.
Yeah, there you go.
It used to be a city for weirdos and artists that was cheap enough to live in while doing art, music, or whatever you're into. Now it's expensive, overrun by influencers and tech people. They pushed out everyone and turned that city into corporate jerks and money.
Can I yeah, the first part's still valid, but can I just say there's a reason that we're in Huntsville, Texas now and not 26 miles north of that city?
Well, I know. I went down there probably, or over there, probably 8 or 9 years ago. And before that, I hadn't been there, a long time. And but it sure has changed a whole lot. The suburbs around Austin, and the whole dynamic of the city has changed a whole lot.
We got I know you and I got to get rolling. We got about 5 more minutes.
Okay, well, I got to get to the good stuff then.
Yeah.
So another one was horror movies. I don't have any comments on that, but the next one, I really believe in this one. What's something that's been ruined when it became too popular? Subscriptions for everything. You notice that? Everything you pay, everything you have now is a subscription service. And I'm sure being into technology, you're familiar with that.
The coolest one of all time was the Reader's Digest. You know?
That's right.
And now it's not even cool anymore.
All right. Etsy used to be a great platform for small businesses with quirky items that were well made. Now it's difficult to find small businesses that genuinely care. Tourism in national parks. Now it's so overcrowded, and even people are trying to keep people away from certain things because they're actually destroying certain natural places because there's so much tourism in certain areas of national parks, but not just national parks, any kind of natural phenomena. People just use that.
My hometown should be on Georgetown should be on that list.
Really?
Yeah.
And last but not least, this goes back to what I mentioned before, is concert tickets. And this person wrote, I saw Taylor Swift tickets for good seats in Switzerland for $89. If it's cheaper to fly to a foreign country, get a hotel, and see an artist for half the price than it is in your state, there's a problem.
Yeah, 100%.
But thankfully, because there was 110,000 people seeing George Strait, the tickets weren't that bad.
My United States Postal Service carrier, I said that really long when I could have just said my mailman. I don't know why I said that.
You're falling into the politically correct society.
Yeah. My USPS, great guy, back when I had my IT company in Georgetown. And before AT&T Stadium, Cowboy Stadium, he had season tickets forever to Texas Stadium. And he bought 4 every year, had them forever. Didn't cost him hardly anything. And, in fact, I think it was like $40 a seat. They were corner end zone, 13 rows up, right on the ground. Beautiful seats. $40. So we were talking $160 a game, right? Not that bad.
Right.
Take 10 games, that's $1,600.
Right.
Well, that price went up 10 times when they built AT&T Stadium. He couldn't afford them anymore. And he used to sell. He's like, man, if y'all ever want to go to the Cowboys game, just let me know. And you can buy my tickets. I won't upcharge you on them.
Right.
And so we would. We'd buy 2 of his. One time he couldn't go to a game. We bought all 4 for $160. And I missed going to Texas Stadium. The new stadium is cool, but it's just as a diehard Cowboys fan, ready for Jerry Jones to. We love you, Jerry, but it's just time to pass the torch. But. And you probably agree, but well,
save that for next week.
Save that for next week. But I miss going to that old stadium. I just loved it, and it's cool because the first time I ever went, you'd see it on TV. And you're like, oh man, this thing is beautiful. When you went in person, you're like, they needed a new stadium. That thing was rusted, falling apart.
Yeah, I haven't been to the new stadium. I haven't ever seen a Cowboy game, but I really want to go.
Now I know what we need to get you, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, pick up what we're putting down if you'd like to bless Jason and I, and like maybe 4 extra tickets. We'll take a couple of your boys, Bridget.
We could come back and give a great segment on the Cowboys experience. So, hey, this is contributing give back here. The last thing I want to mention, and I know we're running out of time, last thing I want to mention is last night, being an Aggie, I have to mention this. Last night, the Aggies, yes, in baseball, beat the Florida Gators by 6-0 to make it to their first ever College World Series final against Tennessee. And that'll be this Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. They have a tournament. So I'm really proud. We went to a game this year over there, but it's something that the Aggies were never very well known for back in my day, baseball. But they've just put the program together, and so they will be attending their first ever College World Series finals this Saturday.
How about that,
yeah,
man? Congratulations. Good friend of mine, I never knew Dave South. I'm friends with him on Facebook, really, and we've had some conversations digitally. But a good friend of mine and another mentor, Andrew Monaco, is over there now as the voice of the Aggies. He used to be with Fox Sports Southwest, did a lot with the Spurs on FSSW down there in San Antonio. And when he got that opportunity, I was so happy for him. And every once in a while, I'll call him. One day, you know what? I'll have to invite you, I'll tell Andrew because we go eat at Chewy's sometimes over there. It's hour drive, but it's worth it.
Right.
And I know he posted something about that, and I haven't been keeping up with it. I was like, that's pretty cool because he's calling those games on the radio side of things now. So, all right, well, gig him, man. Gig him.
That's right.
All right, well, our winner today happens to be sitting in the studio. So don't worry, Taylor, you're not going to get a call. But Taylor's won $20 today. So she texted in the keyword, And Taylor Kreider's here with Papa Kreiner, who brought us some tacos, by the way, and we appreciate that. And Taylor, I'm assuming you got Cash App or Venmo, right? One of those.
Well, she doesn't need it. She just needs the $20 out of your pocket.
I got $20 cash. You got digital. Do you have it? Can I send it to Dad, and then we'll figure that out, man? This is where it costs you money. See the conflict that it creates. So we'll figure that out, though. But congratulations to Taylor. She's sitting right here. She was the winner today. So. Well, that'll wrap it up here on this edition of Good Morning Huntsville. Sorry to cut it short today. We just got VBS, and we want to get over there. And, hey, I just want to encourage you, if you're looking for a place to be on Sundays, come visit us at FBC. We'd love to have you. We call it a harbor of hope for a reason. It's a place where you're going to feel like family. You're going to be loved on, and most importantly, you're going to learn about the number one love that we have in our lives. That's our Lord Jesus Christ. So please come by. Join us for Bible study, 9:30, 10:45 service. Jason will get you out of there by noon.
That's right.
Especially if it's Cowboy Sunday. So we may even put it up on the screen at the end of this. No, we won't do that.
Well, the Aggies play at 1 o'clock on Sunday, so that tells you something.
So 11:30 we'll be out of there. No. Well, that'll wrap it up, friends. As I end every single show, I want to remind you this morning that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We really do need each other. So please provide a word of encouragement and lend a hand of support. Somebody out there needs you. Until tomorrow, we'll probably be doing it remotely tomorrow. We're leaving for San Antonio tonight, and I've got a byway of Georgetown, but we're heading out this weekend, and so Billy and I will be on hopefully remotely tomorrow morning. So we'll still have the show. 7:30 is when we'll catch you. Jason, thanks for being here, man.
God bless you, brother.
Yes, sir. You too. We'll see you later. And as always, thanks for being a part of the show. Thank you, Jason.
God bless you.